program for graduate studies at Charles Darwin University. I'm Tara Brabazon, and I'm the Dean of Graduate Studies at Charles Darwin University, and welcome to our Touchstone ending session, moving our students from university to industry. Now, this has been a major request from our colleagues, and I understand why it is such an important issue for supervisors. Most students who complete a PhD now do not remain in our universities. So how do we enable our students to make that transition? My caveats are pretty important here. We have to note that right now we have a large number of PhD students that continue to work full-time while doing their doctorate. So they don't move from university to industry. They remain in their industries while they are completing their PhD. And we also have to remember our mid-career workers who pause their career, do a PhD, and then return, hopefully on a promotion arc. So these are both very large groups of students now, for which, of course, this session is completely irrelevant. But at the moment, there's so much talk about industry, and particularly industry internships, placements, collaborations. So let's talk about this. And what I want to particularly talk about is the movement into and out of universities and industries, pretty broadly defined. So let's answer this question. How does a student move from academia to industry? I believe we have 10 variables that we can control, and using these 10 variables we can assist our students to move to a diversity of industries, from art and design to engineering, from regional development to social work, from history to speech pathology. So let's go for it. 1. Help our students flip their CV. We'll start with Kendall Powell's advice from Nature. So this is particularly of value for our students in the experimental sciences. There'll be different emphases that'll emerge in the humanities, and we'll talk about the GLAMs in a minute. But let's start with our student's CV. We need to invert the academic CV. So the publications, the posters, the presentations, they move to the back. And the teamwork skills, the abilities to create deliverables, all that stuff comes to the front. Now, academic life is about individual achievement. Moving to industry, the focus is on collaboration and teamwork. So we need to flip the CV and flip the mindset. What value will our student bring to the organisation? So benchtop ability and technical skills will be assumed. What about communication skills? What about the capacity to manage time and manage people? Okay, let's go to the second variable. Have a professional development plan from the first day of a student's PhD. We need to start the planning and industry strategy for our students from the first month of the PhD. It really is too late when a student becomes a postdoc or a part-time contract ends to suddenly think about becoming industry ready. We need to have an industry plan from the start of a graduate degree. And this emerges through working really hard, having a strategy for professional development. Seek out the PD that stretches a student beyond their discipline. So we need to think actively, and I'm going to use the phrase, we need to think actively about translational research, know what it is, know how it works, learn the vocabulary, and learn the dissemination strategies. 3, work hard on collaboration and learn about adjacent industries. Yep, this is a big one. We need to encourage our students to read widely about the industries that are adjacent to our disciplines. To get a job, to get any job, requires pretty deep research about particular companies. A student has to know about a company, and they have to know about as much as the panel that are interviewing the student. And every time I've got a job, and every consultancy I've ever achieved, in the interview, I knew something about the organisation that the people working in it did not. So we need to teach our students to learn about the businesses. the workplace culture, the history, the problem. Teach them to read vision statements and strategic plans, and also use professional associations. This is obviously very important for our colleagues in engineering and the creative industries. And remember that face-to-face matters. We need the CV, but we also need the online presence. So when a student is going to have a chance to get one of these jobs or posts, we need to make sure they've met a large number of people through the candidature and from diverse environments too. So when we have an opportunity as supervisors to meet people from diverse industries, try and involve our students so they gain that experience. 4, make sure a student never apologises for their PhD. This is a big one. Now, in my office, I hear a lot. Why am I doing a PhD? Why have I done this PhD? This PhD is useless. And I correct the students every single time. Only 1% of the world's population holds a PhD. Half the people that start a PhD don't finish it. And the problem is, I suppose, we live in anti-intellectual times. Smart people are seen to be a problem. We don't want that clever talk here. And the world really is in the state that it's in because of what I describe as the culture of equivalence. Because basically a feeling, a vibe, is equivalent to somebody else's research. Well, no, it's not. A feeling or a vibe is not equivalent to research. Feelings are fine, but research, that's different. So valuing the PhD is important, and ensuring our students never apologise for it is important. But the world has a shortage of clever people. How many more terrible things have to happen in the world before the feelings, the vibe, the limited experience is seen to be what it is, a limited experience? It is the people who transcend themselves and create research and pathways through arguments and analyses. They are the valuable humans. So it's important that our student always claims that PhD and they know what it means, but ensure that they use that PhD as a foundational step for a career escalator. 5, help a student work on the answer to the question, why are they leaving academia? And P.S., I want to make a lot of money or I want a permanent job are not the correct answers. The key is to show how a student is interested in translating research into tangible products, or to express a desire to see how a student's research work may travel to improve people's lives. So we just have to make sure our students have an answer. Why are they leaving the university sector? 6, we have to teach our students to suppress perfectionism and leverage their strengths. Academic life can be unbelievably unhealthy because if we wait for people to notice us, if we wait for people to tell us how great we are, we wait for people to hire us or promote us, then we're going to be waiting till hell freezes over, because academic jealousy means that there are plenty of people out there who are ready at any point to point out a student's weakness. So we may aspire to perfectionism, but it too often gets confused with rigour and achievement, and they're different things. But the industry imperative must be different. We need a student focused on their strengths. What are their strengths? And we need to help our students list those strengths and enhance those strengths, explain their use, and most importantly, teach them how to express the value of those strengths. So let's focus our students' attention on what they're doing well rather than what reviewer 2 may think. But a student must know their strengths, claim those strengths, and explain those strengths. 7, we need to change student mindsets and build relationships. So how will a student fit into an organisation? How will a student's skills help the team? This again is a big change of mindset for academics. Academics talk on and on and on and on about how great they are. You know, all the me. If I told you about me, let me tell you about my career narrative because I'm so important, right? Well, the rest of life and the rest of people in that life are not hugely bothered about this academic mindset. Instead, the question in many ways is inverted. What can we do for the business? So therefore, supervisors matter, we matter, because we know people outside of universities, and therefore our role is to connect our students with all sorts of organisations. It may be publishing, it may be publishers, it may be 3D printing businesses, regional health organisation, tourist organisations. One email, one phone call can make a difference. These informal networks really matter. And this is often the way we move our students into work. So formal industry mentoring schemes also matter, and I know we have them at Charles Darwin University. Please use them. But never underestimate our value, the value of the supervisor, in loaning our contacts to students. 8, understand, value and improve our students' interpersonal skills. All this is important. I think the problem we have is that interpersonal skills, that weird phrase, is sort of used everywhere, but without precision. And these interpersonal skills are incredibly important, but we need to understand them. And supervisors, we must help our students to master them. What we need to do, I think, is unpick this issue, because it's clear in business surveys they use all sorts of phrases like soft skills and hard skills, and interpersonal skills are often collapsed into soft skills. But they also capture the capacity to make connections, to convey ideas to diverse audiences, and ensure that ideas move between people and groups. So how can a student demonstrate interpersonal skills? Firstly, they can be present, they can listen actively, ask incisive questions, and improve an understanding of a context to enable others to share that particular vista. So we need to be patient and recognise that not everything is about a student, but everything is about a student's connection with others. So we as supervisors have to find the opportunities for our students to express their research for diverse audiences. 9, find and claim opportunities. My fear is that we train our students to be conservative, to sit back and wait. But right now, with the state of the world, a student, me, any of us, we're going to be waiting a long time if we have to sort of sit back and wait. If a student is waiting for someone to help them, then sadly it's not going to happen. A student, all of us, we need to ask. If there's a whiff of an opportunity, we need to find out more, follow up, make that call, send that tweet, get more information. Don't assume that it's going to end well. Don't assume that it's going to end badly. Instead, intervene, have a good go, and create an opportunity. And finally, 10, create a student's own experience. I think the most common worry that students express to me is they say, but Tara, I don't have any business experience. Now, what I think we need to do is encourage our students to create their own business experiences. So get them to organise a speaking event. Talk to me in graduate studies. I'll organise a gig for students so they can present their wares to the world. But contact me and I will help them enable a developmental experience. But we have to encourage reflection in our students. What have they got control over? What do they do really well? Great. Now let's find a strategy to value add to that strength. So that is what we're trying to add to a student's CV. We're trying to assist our students to get ready for this transition. Work on the CV, flip the order. Start with skills first, publication second. Use active voice. What did the student implement? What did the student design? What did the student develop? Focus on conveying a student's results. Think about personal skills. They're often called soft skills. But how does a student overcome frustration and build teams? Explain to a student some options and how to manage criticism. And we need to be prepared for a student to justify what is their role, what is their best role, and why should this industry hire them. I think the first key decision for students moving from a PhD to industry is they need to ask themselves, do they want to remain in research? And if they do, then they've got to look for research and development in a diversity of firms, and research positions too, whether it's in big pharma or a media production company. But if they wish to leave research at the end of the degree, we're going to have to demonstrate all the skills and the abilities that they've developed through that doctorate. And we as supervisors can model this behaviour. Let's start something new. Experiment. Try, be innovative, take risks. And we can model this porous relationship between academia and industry. So thank you so much for joining me for our Touchstone session today. As always, I'd love to hear from you, and thank you for your time. Thank you for listening to Touchstones, our professional development program for graduate studies at Charles Darwin University.